Today on the show, I'm going to share how finding out that I have a hole in my heart, a PFO, changed the way I live my life. It all started a little over a year ago after losing vision in my right eye. I was about 45 minutes into one of my favorite workout classes when all of a sudden I couldn't see anything out of my right eye. It was completely dark. I was very scared. I had no idea what was going on. So what did I do? I left the class, I drank some water, and took a lift to my eye doctor. Long story short, I was diagnosed with a CRVO in my right eye, also known as a central retinal vein occlusion. What this is basically a blood clot in my right eye, affecting the center part of my vision and ultimately for 3 or 4 months clouding the majority of my eye. To this day, I don't have my vision 100% back in my right eye, but I'm about 99% of the way there, which is unheard of for people that have this happen to them. Over the next few months, I did tons of tests. I was training for my first 100K Ultra. I had done many 50Ks. I had ran a 50-mile race, but I was training for 100K Ultra throughout all this. So I was being very careful about my workouts. During all this testing, I found out that I have something called a PFO, patent Foramen Ovale. This basically means is that I have a hole in my heart. And the hole in my heart is bigger than typical. PFOs are actually pretty common. About 20 or 25% of people are born with a PFO. And really what happens is from birth, when we start breathing oxygen into our lungs, it automatically closes off specific holes in our heart. For 20 to 25% of us, this doesn't fully happen. And that's how we end up with a PFO. I found this out because my doctor thought that potentially having a hole in my heart, if I did have one, would cause my CRVO. When we found out I had a PFO, I thought there was no way I was going to be racing in September. I thought there was a possibility that I would never race again. I thought there was a possibility I would never run again. But after talking to some of the best doctors in the United States in cardiology, ophthalmology, and my general practitioner, we discovered the PFO did not cause my CRVO. It doesn't mean that the PFO doesn't have its own risks, but we were pretty sure it didn't cause my CRVO. Remember, I'm not a healthcare professional. If you have a PFO, if you have a CRVO, please talk to them. I'm sharing with you my experience with all of this and the biggest takeaways since finding out I have a PFO. Talk to your doctor, and that's why I have a disclaimer in the show notes and in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Now, my PFO is looked at to be much larger than other people, but not large enough to prevent me from running and to have to actually get it closed, because this is one thing that a lot of people have to do is if it's large enough, you actually have to get it closed. Now that doesn't mean that I won't have to get it closed sometime in my life, but that's why one of the things that this has really changed in my life, the first thing is every year I track important health markers. And I even track some of these markers daily, like my HRV, heart rate variability. This is daily. So there are multiple things that I track yearly. I do a full blood panel and do an ultrasound on my heart every year. And I do the ultrasound on my heart to really track how big my PFO is. And as long as it's not getting bigger, then I don't need to make any changes in my life. If you are an elite athlete, it's probably a good idea to have your heart checked out and whatever else is important to you and your doctor. Doing this testing could literally save your life. So I highly recommend that you check with your healthcare professional. Number 2, I wear a smartwatch whenever I work out alone and during most workouts in general, I wear it. to not only track my heart rate, it also will warn my fiance, and I have it set up to automatically call 911 if I end up falling or passing out while working out. Now, I'm not necessarily gonna count on it doing that, but this is added security for me so I can keep track of my heart rate while working out, because I have been told that since I have a PFO that I need to keep my heart rate within specific zones for me to be careful with nothing bad happening. So that's why I keep track of my heart rate, it keeps track of my HRV, and it has fall protection. So if I go unconscious, in theory, it's supposed to call 911. Number 3, I got really serious about rest and stress. Stress is one of the biggest killers out there. When you feel stressed, your system is stressed. Your body is stressed. So the less stress you have in your life, the healthier it is for your system. And one way to do this is by making sure that you're getting enough rest. You get enough rest, you're gonna be less stressed. So I try to go to bed earlier. I make sure I'm treating my body well with what I'm ingesting. This means that I work a little less. I make sure to manage my stress while working. I do things in my life that alleviate stress, like working out. Working out creates endorphins, which gets rid of stress. Literally busts stress out of your life. So I take rest and alleviating stress seriously, because I want to have the most powerful cardiovascular system as possible. And if you have a PFO or not, you should too. Number 4, I quit alcohol. I quit drinking. I didn't drink for 14 months. Then I drank a couple times. Now it's almost been 2 months since I've drank last. I've only drank 3 or 4 times in the past 16 months. And the amount I drink is very small. In general, I just don't believe in drinking anymore. Drinking is hard on your body in many ways. I have videos and podcast episodes talking about how hard drinking is on your body. When I found out that I had a CRVO in my eye and a PFO in my heart, I told myself, I need a cheat code to feeling better. Cutting drinking out of your life is a cheat code. And I share the exact metrics I tracked before and after drinking and how powerful it is cutting alcohol out of your life. I still really like beer, and that's why I drink NA beer, because I can be at my best, stay extremely healthy, and still enjoy the taste of a good beer. And number 5, I am inspired to serve you. Back in June 2024, I got out of finishing all these tests on my, and for one of the tests, I had anesthesia, went under for a bit. And when I got out, the cardiologist, as I was still a little groggy, was telling me, there's no way you're gonna be running in September. It's like less than 8 weeks from when I did this exam. And I'm like, oh, yeah, why? And he's like, well, you have a hole in your heart. You're probably not going to be running ever again. While I was still loopy, I was upset. It sucked hearing that. But that day, I started thinking, I love working out. I love inspiring people, overcoming perceived limitations that we have. So I've been doing since I was 4 years old with asthma. Well, a couple weeks later, and a lot of back and forth with doctors, and I was cleared to be able to race. It is the highlight of my athletic career to this point, other than creating this channel, Athlete with Asthma, and being able to serve you. I am inspired to serve you in becoming the athlete and the person that you truly want to be. I'll see you in the next episode.